Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are moving to a new topic, nerve tissue. So, in other classes, we had seen connective tissue, epithelial tissue, cartilage tissue, muscle tissue, and today the tissue we are going to deal with is nerve tissue. Nerve tissue has a special property of conduction. They conduct impulses from one part of the body to the other region. That we already know. The property of a nerve fiber. The property of a muscle is contraction. Same like that, property of a nerve fiber is conduction of impulse from one place to another. The functional unit of a nervous system are the neurons. So these neurons are supported by a special type of connective tissue. They are called neuroglial cells. We know we have nervous system. We already have an idea about our nervous system. We have heard of brain, spinal cord, cerebrum, cerebellum, then basal ganglia. So many names related to the nervous system we had seen. But while before discussing into the details of nervous system, we should understand that nervous system consists of only the neurons. There is a basic constituent which forms the whole nervous tissue. So this basic thing, that's a neuron. Along with the neuron, neuroglial cells are present. Then we have blood vessels, arteries and veins. These are the constituents which is forming the nervous tissue. No other structures are there in the nervous tissue other than these: neuron, neuroglial cells, blood vessels. So neuroglial cells are non-nervous elements present in the nervous tissue, which is acting therefore supporting the nerves, giving myelination, giving protection. So many functions are there for the neuroglial cells, so which is an essential part of the nervous system. We can divide the nervous system into central, peripheral and autonomic. Central nervous system is the part of the nervous system which is present in the axis of the body or center of the body. So we know in the center of our body we have brain, spinal cord. So these are the two components of the central nervous system. While taking the peripheral nervous system are tributaries which is arising from the central nervous system. Tributaries means the branches from the brain, branches from the spinal cord, that is cranial nerves and spinal nerves. So cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Spinal nerves are called peripheral nerves. Okay, these are the part of the these are tributaries arising from this brain and spinal cord, in which peripheral nervous system constitute that cranial nerves as well as peripheral nerve along with ganglia. Okay, now another thing is autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is consisting of sympathetic and parasympathetic, because that is a separate entity, because its function is not under our control. So that is a separate entity consisting of parasympathetic and sympathetic. Now we will see the structure of a neuron. A neuron, we already have studied about the structure of a neuron in lower classes. Like, we are very familiar with the structure of a neuron. It has a cell body. Cell body is otherwise called soma or perikaryon. Okay, and it consists of two types of processes. Small processor which is surrounding the body is called dendrites, and a long process arising from the body is called axon. Okay, so axon and dendrites are the two processes present in the neuron. While taking the cell body consists of a large nucleus in the center. Okay, it has got cytoplasm. Cytoplasm has all other cell organelles like mitochondria, Golgi bodies, etc. But apart from these organelles, it has special rough endoplasmic reticulum. The rough endoplasmic reticulum present in the nerve cell is called Nissel's bodies. So Nissel's bodies are nothing but the aggregation of rough endoplasmic reticulum present inside the So it is looking like a granule. Okay, it gives an appearance of a granular cytoplasm. Okay, these Nissel's bodies, these Nissel's granules extend into the dendrites but not into the axon. This Nissel granules extends into the part of the dendrites, okay, but not into the axon. Cell body consists of granules as well as neurofibrils. Then, taking the dendrites, they are highly branched. Dendrites are highly branched with the tapering processes. Then it is having spine-like projections. It consists of spine-like structures. And these dendrites, functionally, it receives impulses and it transmits towards a cell body. So the function of dendrites is it receives impulses from a part and it carries to the cell body. Okay, so here comes the synapse with the neighboring axon. So from there it takes or carry impulses which reaches the cell body. So it carries impulse towards the cell body. Now look at the axon. Axons are long cylindrical process. It has a uniform diameter and this is devoid of Nissel's granules. So we know Nissel's granules are nothing but the endoplasmic reticulum which is present inside the cytoplasm or the neuroplasm of the cell body, which is extending into the dendrite but not into the axon. Okay. So part of the axon, the very beginning of the axon is conical. The very beginning of the axon is conical and which is pushed into the cell body. So this area, this is the very beginning of the axon, not this area. This brown colored area is the very beginning of the axon, which part is called axon hillock, which is looking like a conical area. Okay. Now, just after the axon hillock, we have the initial segment, the first segment. This is the initial segment. Okay. Now, the cytoplasm within the axon is called axoplasm and the cell membrane is called axolemma. The cytoplasm present inside the axon is called axoplasm and its membrane is called axolemma. Now, we are moving to peripheral now. All nervous tissue under the brain and spinal cord are classified as peripheral nervous system. So, I have already discussed you that central nervous system consists of structures which is present only in the center of the body, that is brain and spinal cord, and the tributaries arising sidewise from both brain and spinal cord forms the peripheral nervous system. That means cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Okay, so peripheral nerve is consisting of both cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Peripheral nerves are the collection of nerve fibers in the PNS or peripheral nervous system. Example, cranial nerve and spinal nerve. They can be myelinated or non-myelinated. These fibers can be myelinated or non-myelinated. Okay, myelinated fibers and non-myelinated fibers are present there. In the peripheral nervous system, myelin sheath derived from Schwann cell. So, myelination is a process which is helped by the neuroglial cells. In peripheral nervous system, the neuroglial cell which is helping for the myelination is nothing but the Schwann cell. Schwann cells are providing myelination for the peripheral nervous system. But in case of central nervous system, the myelination is done by oligodendrocytes. So both Schwann cells and oligodendrocytes are neuroglial cells. Okay. Now, these peripheral nerves can be motor or sensory. That means the peripheral nerves can supply some muscles. If it is supplying muscles or it is having motor function, these nerves can be classified as motor nerves. Or in some cases, some peripheral nerves are supplying sensation or that receive sensation, not supplying, it is that receive sensation. Such a group of nerves can be classified as sensory neurons or sensory nerves. So, peripheral nerves can be either motor or sensory. Motor means those fibers which is supplying a muscle or which is supplying a structure which is contractile. Okay. Now, then what about a sensory nerve? Sensory nerve means which is receiving sensation. Okay. Now, motor carry impulses to the effector organ, sensory carry impulses to the central nervous system. This is structure of the peripheral nervous system or the axon which is this. You can see this is the axon cylinders. This is a perineurium, the outer covering. Now we will see the basic structure of a peripheral now. The muscle tissue, here also each fibers are covered by connective tissues. A single muscle fiber, a single axon, muscle fiber, it's a nerve fiber, a single nerve fiber or a single axon. We know peripheral nerves. Nerves are collection of a group of axons together form a nerve. Group of axons together form a nerve. Okay, so a single nerve is covered by a connective tissue, a thin connective tissue, which is called the entoneurium. So here you can see, one single fiber is out from here. That single fiber, which is blue in color, that is given blue in color, which is covered by an yellow covering. That yellow covering is called entoneurium. So in this bundle, several such entoneurium are present. So this bundle is forming a nerve fascicule. This bundle is covered by furthermore thickened connective tissue, which is called the perineurium. Several such perineurium are arranged here. They are totally covered by an epineurium. So these are the three types of connective tissues that is found attached with the nerve fiber: entoneurium, perineurium and epineurium. So this is about the structure. In this structure you can see outermost is epineurium, then this is a perineurium, this is a innermost one is axon or the nerve fiber, which is surrounded by entoneurium. Now we will move to the neuroglial cells. I have told you these neuroglial cells are nothing but the supporting cells of the nervous system. They are non-myelinated cells. They are not like non-myelinated. They are non-nervous cells. They cannot produce any impulse. They don't have electrical impulses. They can only support the other nervous tissue. That means they can support the ganglia. They can support the axons, etc. Okay, ganglia means collection of the cell body. Nerve means collection of axon. Okay, so different types of neuroglial cells you can see here. The first being ependyma, oligodendrocyte, astrocytes and microglia. These four types of neuroglial cells are found attached with the central nervous system. These four are present in the central nervous system. Ependymal cells are oligodendrocytes, microglia, astrocytes. Then in peripheral nervous system you can see satellite cells and Schwann cells. Neuroglia are non-neuronal supporting cells of the nervous system. It maintains a homeostasis from myelin. Then it forms myelin and also provide support and protection for the neuron. Then we'll see the different types of neuroglial cells. First being astrocytes. Astrocytes. See, this is the astrocyte. This is star-shaped cell. Okay, astrocytes are star-shaped cells which support the nervous tissue, and it controls the blood-brain barrier. So that's a function of the astrocyte. It controls the blood-brain barrier. The next is microglial cells. See, this is a microglial cells. This is a microglial cell. Microglial cells are macrophage cells. Macrophage means they can engulf large particles which remove the damaged neuron as well as they remove the infections. It is important for maintaining the health of the nervous system. So they are having the function of phagocytosis. They are macrophages. They can provide immunity. They can prevent the infection by infectious cells can be engulfed by the cells, and it can remove the damaged neurons also. Okay, now next one is ependymal cell. Ependymal cells actually it's not these are looking like a lining epithelium. Ependymal cells, this is the ependymal cells, lining epithelium which lines the ventricles or the cavities of the brain. Ependymal cells are those cells which lines the cavities of the brain. Then Fourth one is oligodendrocyte cells. These are important cells which provide myelination in the central nervous system. Then neuroglial cells which is present in the peripheral nervous system are satellite cells and Schwann cells. Satellite cells surrounds the ganglial cell. Sympathetic ganglia, parasympathetic ganglia are surrounded by satellite cells. Here you can see the satellite cells. See that violet colored thing is a ganglia. Ganglia means collection of cell bodies of a neuron which is surrounded by this green colored satellite cells. So satellite cells are present surrounding the ganglia which is just supporting the ganglia. Then Schwann cells. Schwann cells provide myelination for the axons of peripheral nervous system. A single Schwann cell can provide myelination to a small segment of a neuron. That means central nervous system and peripheral nervous system are getting myelination in two different ways, or it is given by two different cells. In peripheral nervous system, the myelination is given by Schwann cells. But how this myelination is occurring, or how does it happen? This myelin for providing myelination in a long axis of a peripheral nervous system, long axon of the peripheral nervous system, a single Schwann cell can provide myelination to a small segment. That means a single axon takes many such Schwann cells for its complete myelination. Many Schwann cells are needed for the myelination of a single neuron. But in case of oligodendrocytes are those cells which is providing myelination in the central nervous system. So how in the central nervous system the oligodendrocytes provide myelination? In central nervous system, a single oligodendrocytes can provide myelination in more than one axons. So number of oligodendrocytes are comparatively less when compared to the Schwann cells, because number of Schwann cells are more in for providing myelination in a peripheral axon. That is the difference. Okay, but both are done by these neuroglial cells. So that is enough for you. Optic nerve is not needed for you. So this is a end of this nervous tissue. Here structure of axon is a very important question. Then you have neuroglial cells. That is another important short essay, short note, not short essay, short note. Okay, go through the slides, go through the class. If you have any doubt, please ask me. Thank you.